All right, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Brian Phoebus. I am the theater teacher here at Heritage High School.
All right. How long have you been a director or a teacher in the performing arts?
So I've been here 16 years, and then in Florida I taught for I think like 6 or 7, and then even in between there I was doing other stuff in theaters. So
Gotcha. How long have you been surrounded by the performing arts, teaching, performing, studying, others?
so that's pretty much my whole life. Grew up in South Florida, did the church thing. And in that was like children's choir and Christmas musicals and things like that. So basically, whole life, yeah.
Gotcha. Are there any stereotypes or stigmas you have seen in your life that deter men from the performing arts?
I actually don't think it's so. Yes, obviously, and I think it for a long time was considered not masculine or not acceptable. But I think that kind of has gone by the wayside. At least it's not as rampant as it used to be. And I also think it's kind of the environment that's created. I think some places might have that stereotype. I think if you work to have a community that kind of overcomes that, then it's less of an issue.
Gotcha. Do you think they can be worse now than they used to be, or do you think it was worse? But
I would say anything's possible. And there were times like back in the day, like Fred Astaire, Gene Rogers, Frank Sinatra, Sammy Davis. Like there was all of these guys who were uber masculine. They were heartthrobs. They were, the it people in Hollywood. Frank Sinatra totally connected with the mafia and the mob and gangsters, and so there's definitely times before when it was treated as uber masculine.
yeah.
So I think it goes in cycles. I think so. I do think anything's possible, and then depending on the location in the arts community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on like one specific stereotype you've seen in your lifetime surrounding the performing arts and men?
Specific stereotype. So I definitely think there is a stereotype, and not necessarily male female, but like not very. That's not. It is not hard work. It is not. And the only reason I say that is because we here at Heritage we have a lot of mixed type of backgrounds that participate.
Yeah.
Whether it's athletics or arts or whatever. But I think the common thread is that a lot of them are surprised by how much stamina, energy, effort goes into choreography or performances or productions.
Yeah.
So definitely, and it's probably more rampant on the male side that it's not that big a deal. It's not worthy of being thought of as hard work or exercise or
Yeah.
needing strength or precision or hard focus, hard work.
I can attest that I kind of felt the same way sophomore year. It was
Yeah.
like, because I've been playing soccer for forever.
Right.
And
You have
then I
stamina
came
forever.
here and it didn't look like it was that tiring. It's tiring. I get tired.
Yeah.
Why do you think some of these stereotypes exist?
Honestly, I think because of maybe twofold. Ignorance, because if you don't, and that might not be malintentioned, but until you experience it, you can just, it's hard to know. And one of the quotes we talk about in Theater One is great art conceals art. And so I think if people are very good at what they do, they conceal how much effort it takes to do it. And so if someone's used to watching, I think a lot of people have never seen professional musical theater on stage, but those that do, the professionals, their job is to make it look easy. So it might not look like it is a lot of effort
Yeah.
until you get in there and try it yourself. So I think ignorance by not having experienced it or know. And then the other side is, I think, when people play stereotypes to an extreme, for whatever reason, I think that then becomes like a lot of people think that is the norm. So with social media and TikToks and characters and very flamboyant on any end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
I think that becomes a lot of people's perspective of what it is as well.
Have there been any stereotypes that have affected you directly?
Not so bad, but the main reason is as I started to get into high school, my freshman year, where we were from, very competitive, super amazing choir, and you don't really get in as a freshman, but I did because I played piano and went to company as well. But all the guys in there were like the starting offensive line and like the quarterback for the football team. And so early, I mean, that was my freshman year in high school. So
Yeah.
the stereotype of, oh, they're in the choir, right? Because for whatever reason, choir seems to be worse to me than theater in terms of like perspective and stereotypes. But that got squashed right then. So in middle school, it was kind of like, oh, they're in chorus. But then in high school, it was like the cool thing to do because all the football players were in it.
Yeah.
And there was not this divide between like the sports and the arts or whatever. So that I think I've been pretty fortunate not to have that be a big issue. Trying to think. Yeah, never really that bad. Now, ridicule and teasing amongst family, like my brothers.
Yeah.
Sure, but not in the real
But that's
world.
expected.
Yeah.
It's your family.
Yeah.
And then to conclude it, do you have a message you can give to people wanting to join, or men wanting to join the performing arts, like a message to them to encourage them to do so?
So I would just try anything once. And so being raised, my parents always made me do, they're like, you have to do an athletic and you have to do an art. And that's through high school. Then you can start to narrow down what it was you like to do. So I would encourage that. Try it, and then if you don't like it, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it teaches so many things, besides making you well-rounded. But the coordination and the attention to detail and the discipline required in any of the arts, totally beneficial. I would highly recommend your brother Nolan take some interest in some sort of art form because he's kind of a Neanderthal at the moment.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Phoebus.
Sure.